College hostels are built for chaos. During the day, these buildings are entirely consumed by the kinetic energy of hundreds of students moving, talking, and living in incredibly close quarters. But by 2 in the morning, that energy vanishes. The massive structure goes dormant, and a heavy, unnatural silence blankets the corridors. This creates a sensory vacuum. When your brain expects the constant hum of a community, but gets absolute quiet, it enters a state of hyper-awareness, straining to catch even the smallest out-of-place sound. As that silence sets in, your perceived zone of safety undergoes a radical shift. The boundary protecting you collapses from the reinforced exterior walls of the entire building, shrinking downward until it covers nothing but the immediate hallway outside your door. The question is, what happens when that profound, heavy quiet is broken by something that shouldn't be there? Being entirely alone inside a space engineered for a crowd strips away our inherent herd protection, leaving the mind entirely exposed to unseen threats. A first-year student experienced this isolation firsthand. His room was located at the extreme dead end of a long, narrow corridor, and immediately next door sat a dead space, a dormant room that was entirely unused and permanently closed off. Yet, right around 2 a.m., a distinct sound began bleeding through the shared wall. A slow, deliberate scraping, the heavy drag of someone pushing furniture across the floor. The human mind reflexively scrambles to rationalize fear by reaching for the most mundane explanation available. The student assumed administration had simply assigned a late arrival to the empty room. Logical rationalization acts as our initial psychological armor the moment an unexplained noise encroaches on our immediate spatial boundaries. Seeking confirmation, the student stepped out of his room, crossing the physical threshold into the pitch-black, entirely silent hallway to investigate. The adjacent door was resting slightly ajar. He pushed it open to find a barren, concrete shell. No bed, no desk, and absolutely no one. The physical reality of the empty space was in direct, unresolvable conflict with the sound of moving furniture. Then, as he stood in the doorway, the scraping sound started again. It was directly behind him, dragging slowly across the floor from deep within the empty void he was staring into. He sprinted back to his own room and locked the door. The next morning, he asked the hostel warden about the noise, only to receive a flat confirmation that the room had sat vacant for years. When logic collapses in an isolated environment, your perimeter of safety violently implodes. You are forced to retreat behind the very last physical barrier available, a locked door. But a deadbolt offers little protection if the threat originates from within. During exam season, a final year student lost his last remaining social buffer when his roommate went home, leaving him entirely alone for the night. His spatial boundary was now highly restricted. The perimeter had tightened around a single secured bedroom, isolating him within these 4 walls. At exactly 1:45 a.m., that perimeter was breached. A soft, inexplicable whisper materialized inside the quiet room, hovering dangerously close to his ear. He shot up and flicked on the lights, scanning the area. Everything looked perfectly normal. Desperate to maintain a sense of safety, he blamed the auditory hallucination on severe exam exhaustion and plunged the room back into darkness. A locked door provides a highly dangerous illusion of absolute security. Any anomaly occurring inside the room is psychologically devastating because it implies the threat has already bypassed your strongest defense. Seconds later, a secondary breach cut through the dark. The whisper returned, clearer this time, distinctly speaking his own name. He went rigid, triggering an involuntary physiological freeze response. He stopped moving and practically stopped breathing, instinctively trying to avoid detection. Then the threat escalated from auditory to tactile. The edge of his mattress shifted as the distinct, heavy weight of an unseen body sank down onto the bed right next to him. He scrambled for the light switch. Once again, the room was completely empty, but at the foot of the bed, the thick fabric of his blanket was firmly pressed down, holding the deep indentation of someone sitting there. This is the intimate breach. It is the terrifying conclusion of a collapsing safety perimeter, shrinking down to absolute zero and violating the physical boundary of the body itself. In the profound quiet of an empty hostel, silence acts as an active veil, camouflaging the invisible weight of whatever is already sitting on the edge of your bed.